Starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, Emily here from the Improvement Service, and I'm also joined by my colleague Johanna.
Hello everyone.
Thank you very much for joining today's webinar. We've got Dave, Carol and Lorna from Falkirk Council, and they're going to talk about their Change Agent Network, or the CANS for short. Just before I pass you on to Dave, who I think is going to get us started, if you want to ask questions, please use the little grey box on your screen, and Johanna and I will pick them up at the end. So without further ado, I think I'll pass over to you, Dave, now. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Oops. Can everyone see that okay? So thanks, Emily, for the introduction, and thanks for having us back in the webinar series. As Emily says, I'm Dave Morton, the Programme Management Coordinator within Falkirk Council. I'm joined here today by two of my colleagues who are part of our Change Agent Network. We're also sort of crowded around a laptop at the moment, so if you hear us muddling about, then it'll be us trying to sort out the sound quality. But I'm joined by my colleagues Carol and Lorna, who are part of the Change Agent Network. Carol is a Senior Accountancy Assistant and Lorna is our Business Lead for the Improvement. So to talk about, we're going to break down the presentation into three parts. The first part will be an introduction to the Council of the Future programme, and then I'll pass over to Carol, who will talk about the role of the Change Agent Network, and Lorna will talk about hackathons. So just a quick overview of the Falkirk area. We're a local authority located in the central belt of Scotland, a sort of mid-sized local authority, a population of about 160,000 at the moment, which is expected to grow over the next 20 years. And we have a workforce of around 7,000 employees. So the need for change has been quite well communicated across the whole Scottish public sector. We have a growing demand for our services, which will be further increased by the growing population over the next 20 years. There's also, in 2016, we had an Audit Scotland report which highlighted the need that we needed to increase the pace of transformation. There was already quite a lot of good, significant work going on as part of several business transformation programmes and part of our digital strategy, but there was the need to bring that all under the one umbrella and put the correct governance structures in place. There's also a growing need to redesign our services to put the customer and put digital transformation at the heart of our processes. So the example we've got there is our My Falkirk portal, which customers can now use to interact with services online. So there was the My Falkirk portal was already in place for quite a while now, so there was a significant platform to build on. There was also a burning need for change. And like all local authorities, we have significant budget pressures with a gap of around 70.8 million over the next 5 years. So to bring this all together, the Council of the Future programme was devised and was signed off by elected members in December 2016. The programme itself is a 5-year programme, but there's potential for a couple of sequels. The Change Programme Manager was appointed in autumn 2016, so that's Rebecca MacDonald, and the Programme Management Office, which I'm a part of, was put in place in March 2017. So the PMO, that's us there. So Rebecca is our Change Manager who oversees the full Council of the Future programme. There was 3 programme management coordinators. Our colleague Laurie has left us to return to London. However, we operate a business partner model. So Joe Gallagher is the lead for adult services and I'm the lead for children's services. It's also worth mentioning that we're recruiting at the moment, so the team will be going to 5 programme management coordinators, 3 permanent and 2 temporary, which should help build a bit of capacity in the team. However, it is recognised that there's a need to add additional capacity within services, and that's where the Change Agent Network will play a major role going forward. So the governance structure that we talked about a little bit that I mentioned earlier on, the Programme Management Office sits in the middle, with each service now has its change programme boards. So that's the directors and heads of service at each of our 3 services and corporate and housing services, so 4 services. and that's where project ideas will be taken to and signed off by the service. There's also the cross-service change group, which has a lot of our enabler services, so HR and IT play a big part in that. Improvement groups, CANs and hackathons are just two examples of our improvement groups, and they feed into both the service level change boards and the change group. And from there it goes on to the Council of the Future board, which has elected member representation and also has 3 directors and the chief executive, which oversees the progress, and a full report goes to executive. Our project update reports is done through Pantana, which is formerly Covalent, and a project report and a Pantana update is prepared both for the Council of the Future board and for executive. So the journey so far, we've held various listening events with elected members, with senior leaders, with cross-sectional employees, and we're just starting to hold service listening events as well. So this is getting employees into the room to tell us what they think about the council, all the good, the bad and ugly, and what we can really work to improve going forward. So we've spoke to over 1,000 staff so far. That's just one of the outputs from our from one of our listening sessions. So we've gathered in all that information, analysed it, and used this to inform the direction of travel going forward, and we'll also to put in some projects in place which will really make a difference to our staff. We've also held a employee engagement survey. I think it's the first time in 5 years that we'd done that. Around a third of employees completed that survey, so I've got about 2,000 responses to that, just asking various questions around leadership, around change management, how involved staff feel in the change, and also asking the common questions: what's the one thing that would make a real difference in your job and make it really relevant for the staff going forward. From this employee engagement survey, we've also prepared an action plan, so it's the leadership and management slide there. So that's where some of the actions around service-based listening events, and directors also hosting events, attending team meetings, and really continuing the readiness and engagements cycle of the Council of the Future programme. Make sure that everybody's voices are heard. From all the feedback that we got, we asked people what's the vision for the council, what kind of council would you like to work for, and the 4 most common phrases that we've got are easily remembered by Rita. So we're moving towards being a responsive, innovative, trusted and ambitious organisation, and that's defined by our staff and the people who deliver our services. Also, so these are the 4 Council of the Future core competencies. These are recognised as areas that we need to address and work towards to be a Council of the Future. So to break them down, one council is working better across teams, across services, within services, and really breaking down the barriers to become a more integrated organisation. Enabled and empowered communities follows on from the findings of Christie and the Community Empowerment Act. So how do we empower our communities to work with us and help deliver our services, and also co-produce services with our communities which matter to them. Modern and digital is about moving towards it's about embracing digital technology and moving to more modern ways of working a lot more efficiently. And data, as a council, we collect vast amounts of data, and how do we make the best use of that? How do we produce a single source of truth for each customer and get it right first time for them? So from under each of these competencies, there sits a list of projects. I'm not going to go through the projects in any detail. The slides will be circulated following the session, so if you've got any questions about any of these, then feel free to get in touch. There'll also be a bit of time at the end to take a bit of questions. What I will say is a lot of them are actually 5-year programmes, so we've got various mini projects underneath, and it is a flexible programme. There are actually 2 additional projects to add to that list, which is the early learning and childcare expansion to 1140, and a new project that we're just kicking off around virtual learning in schools. That's how so this diagram ties in our vision, our competencies, our projects, and the really important part at the bottom there is just make it happen. So that's our motto, and it's something that our CANs will really enforce and help drive going forward. Very much around empowering staff and helping to come along in the change journey. So that's a whistle-stop tour of the Council of the Future programme. I will hand over to Carol, who will talk to you about CANs.
Good afternoon. So I'm here just to sort of give you an overview of what a CAN is, and a bit like the picture you're looking at just now, we're looking for people who don't have can't in their, or make sure they don't have can't in their vocabulary. Everything should be can. So if I move down to the next slide, what is a CAN? Well, the CAN, as Dave's already said, is the Change Agent Network. And within the CANs, or within the CAN, there is change agents, so that we would call them CANs, just to keep it short and snappy. Now, who are we looking for to be CANs? Again, a bit like the Council of the Future vision, we're looking for innovative, responsive, trusted and ambitious folks to join in the change, so that everybody's on board and are happy and looking forward to moving the council forward and making the changes that we need to do in order to be that council for the future. Basically, a CAN helps to manage the change programme and make it happen, both within their own service areas, but also outside their service areas, perhaps looking at projects or that belong to other services that just are of interest to them, or they feel they could make a difference. What we're looking for, obviously, the people that are involved as CANs are generally enthusiastic, very positive people who like having a chat, enjoy listening to people as well, to understand sort of what things are not working for them and what perhaps looking for opportunities that could perhaps make life better. Again, it's a fluid role, and it's generally about helping the council towards the overall improvement that we're aiming for at the moment. But I think the key thing is that we all still have our day jobs to do. So a key part of being involved as a CAN is as much time as each individual can afford to put towards the overall banner of Council of the Future. Hang on, I did do that right. So if I talk maybe a wee bit more about the kind of things we're looking for in a CAN, as you can see here, there's this slide has a sort of number of key attributes, if you like, that we'd be looking for from a CAN. Doesn't start necessarily anywhere within the circle, but all of these elements are what we're looking for in order that we can move forward. So, for instance, we're looking for CANs to be able to motivate colleagues to think positively about change. We're looking for them to encourage their fellow members of staff to make change happen and get involved with the wider projects that are going on. We need to be able to listen and actively listen to our colleagues and get an idea of what's needed and and their ideas and where we can go with their suggestions. We need to think critically about what we're doing and what we need to do differently. We also need to be able to challenge effectively, because I think, and this is probably quite a key one, is that we've done things certain ways for quite some time, and sometimes it's worth just saying, but why do we do that? So it's this is probably a key one in helping to move things forward, is to just challenge effectively by being positive and constructive, and offering support to colleagues to implement change. Then we've got the change culture. So basically trying to help change the culture by upholding the Council of the Future vision, so RITA, and creating a positive culture that embraces change and values the contributions of all employees. We're also looking for new methods. So, can we change what we do? can somebody offer skills that perhaps are not currently in use in the council, but they've brought them with them from their previous career. And then sort of finally they want to be a conduit for information, so communicating to our fellow colleagues about Council of the Future projects and feeding back information to the wider CAN network to support further change through the sharing of ideas and good practice. So what do we do? So it sounds great on when you're looking at the slides, but what do we actually do? So I think the key thing for a CAN is being a point of contact for other members of staff to find out more about the Council of the Future, and also to have a point of contact to raise any ideas, suggestions, thoughts with. And I mean, this can be done in a number of ways. We can do it through sort of various meetings. We can do it through certain, and hackathons, which Lorna will come on to. But basically, it's about sort of helping to promote the Council of the Future and the idea that we have to move forward, so we have to make changes, and positively encouraging other people to think the same way, and sort of get people working in the same direction. I mean, as Dave said, we've had a number of listening events. And the listening events are about gathering contributions from all sorts of all members of staff across all different services, and our colleagues, both peers and senior leaders. And then it's also for ideas to be shared across all levels of the organisation, and then taking that forward towards an action. Our leadership forum, for example, is, and I've been involved in a couple of those, is where, ideas are put towards the senior leadership team, and then we work together towards, a sort of an action plan that then can be taken and delivered. And then finally, we have our hackathons, which is probably the next stage in the process. But on that, I'll pass you over to Lorna, and she can give you a bit more detail about the hackathon.
Hi folks, I'm Lorna Bryson, Business Leader in Improvement, and I've been asked to kind of fill you in on a wee bit about hackathons. Sounds really technical and funky and that, but it really just boils down to the fact that what is the hackathon, and it is really just breaking the things down into wee chunks here about. It is a do-it workshop to fix the problems. Nothing new in that, I suppose, but the thing for me was that from our bigger listening events, where you've got chief officers sitting across the table from, I'm not deliberately picking on any individuals, but like cooks. I was sitting at a table at a recent listening event, and the fact that the director for children's services was sitting there with one of the local school cooks, she didn't realise it was the director, and she was talking about a wee issue that she had in her kitchen. And because she had the ear of our chief officer, they quickly came up with a wee thing saying, right, well, I'll come down tomorrow and we'll see if we can work through it. And it was just, she didn't take it in the context of it being a hackathon, but for me, that was very much what I seen was being a hackathon. I've been involved in about 3 or 4 in recent weeks now, where we kind of come along, and one of them was about for children's services, for one area where it's for looked after children. And what the manager of that service was trying to get across was that in the midst of trying to get a big conference together to discuss the issues around that child, to make sure that the best outcome for that child was happening, they were forgetting that they were having this family sitting in a big group of people who are coming in with bundles and bundles of papers around their table, and it's quite intimidating for a family. So what she was wanting to say is, right, so how do we make it more cohesive for the child and the family, because they do feel intimidated when they come along about that. And for me, that was really quite an eye-opener, because I had this vision of social workers. Bear in mind, I don't come from the social work environment either, so you have this vision of what social workers look like, and that they're kind of, pardon me if there's any on the other side of this, but corduroy people, and that they're very much set in their ways. But these were really young, enthusiastic people, really looking at what was the needs of that child, and they were recognising that having this big group of people in a big council room and inviting a family along was actually quite intimidating for them. So the hackathon was there as well. How can we make it better for the child and the family? It was actually quite simple. It was about coordinating all the pieces of work, making sure somebody's collecting that, and rather than having the people that was needed in the room to go ahead with that. So the actions and the outputs from that was that the manager was going back, rewriting the kind of book kind of thing, saying, right, you don't need to come, but we need to come. So that there was less people there, but everybody had their input into the session going forward. And it is basically that, it is just a group of people, as long as you get the right people in the room to come up with, well, here's what the issue are, how can we fix it? And people have about a wee issue that maybe is happening in the local office or in an actual process. Another one that I was involved in recently was about for payroll, where there was an issue where if they miss the payroll deadline, and an employee doesn't get a payment for working additional hours and that, they're trying to label, well, who's to blame for this? If it's a payroll problem, well, payroll will fix it and they'll pay it. But if it was the manager or the employee that has failed to submit a timesheet in time, then we just need to wait to the next time. And quite clearly, we were all realising, it was like a wee kind of light bulb moment. It really doesn't matter where the problem lay, the employee was still needing that money, so payroll's still going to have to fix it. So it's just about defining clear deadlines to say if the timesheet gets in at that point, they'll get paid. If not, it will have to wait to the next time. If they require an emergency payment, then it needs to be okayed by their service unit manager. It was a quick fix, done. As I say, yeah, the answer is fixed at that point. And every hackathon that I've been going along to, that's the kind of theme that I'm getting. I don't like it to be kind of what we would say formal or anything like that. It's just about people being open at the session, having the people that really matters there. So if I go back to the one about the cook, as an add-on to that, that we're having a hackathon with kitchen staff and cleaning staff who don't have access to IT equipment, because if they want to place an order for supplies for the kitchens, for example, they've actually got to write it out, phone the supplier who will input it into a system. They then have to fax this form through to the admin office to get them to get an order process to actually get the supplier to send it to them. But in actual fact, all they really need is a wee laptop or a tablet to actually access the supplier system and input it direct themselves. And that's what these are all about, these hackathons. It's about the people themselves feeling empowered, if it's the frontline staff, right up to the kind of senior managers, to say, here's wee problems here. We don't have to go and write a big report or anything. Can we fix it now? Yes, well, let's go ahead and do it. We accept that sometimes there is limitations. And again, another one that was at last week was all about a recruitment process for temporary contracts, for example, and the hurdles that managers have to go through. And in actual fact, the responsibility lies with a budget holder. So why the hang do we have to fill in all these forms, get approval from a head of service, put it to committee and everything? So again, whilst we can't sign that one off, the recommendation out of action from that hackathon is put forward the recommendation that we stop doing those silly forms, and everybody's in agreement with that. And when you talk to senior managers, when you talk to the managers who's having to go down, if they're a budget holder, they're paid to do that. So let's just get on with it. If I've cropped it up, then it's Mars that gets kicked, kind of, excuse the French people, sorry. And as I can, we're learning from the hackathons as well, because we'll prepare presentation slides and all the rest of it to say, right, this is how the format of these sessions go. In actual fact, not one of them that I've prepared setting out that, this is what we're going to do and trying to stick to that script. You can't do that. You've got to tailor it to your audience, because if you have got people who are frontline who are a bit intimidated coming into a room, you want to make them feel welcome with that as well. So you really do tailor it, and it's a learning experience for myself, and for me it's a development tool for myself. Going forward, like, you know, that it is a real benefit into our council future projects, rather than everybody saying, as I can, you've got to keep telling people about all these big projects. I get it, but you can actually put it back to them and say, this is how it goes, this is how it fits into your the bigger picture of council future. I think I've kind of covered everything. If I've missed anything, please feel free to ask any questions.
Thanks, both. Just like to invite any questions that you might have for now. I've left the contact details there, and we'll also be sending out the slides, etc. after, so open up to any questions.
Thank you very much, David, Carol and Lorna. I think we've had one question so far. I think Johanna's going to...
Yes, so we had a question coming through here from Gosia, who is wondering if it's possible to get a copy of your project report update from Pentana to get a general idea on what you capture and how you use it.
Yeah, no problem. We put these as part of our executive report anyway, so I can dig out the most recent executive report and send it over to you. That's no problem at all.
Perfect, thanks, Dave. We've got another question here as well. For your employee opinion survey, was there any consideration to benchmarking against other councils?
In terms of the results, no, it's not something we've actually undertaken. We looked at the kind of response rate and benchmarked that against other councils, which is quite high compared to other councils, we think, so about 33%. But in terms of the questions that we asked, we kind of designed them in-house, so we'd be very open to seeing what other councils have got as part of their surveys, but at the moment we haven't actually undertaken that exercise to compare specific questions against other councils.
Okay, thank you. We've got another question here as well. How do you measure the rate of success for each of the projects?
As a challenging one, it'll depend on a project. It'll depend on a project-by-project basis. At the moment, we're using the Pentana reporting. We've got the kind of red, amber, green status, and that goes to our council of the future board. So anything that presents as red or amber, then we take that to the board and discuss what kind of challenges we can do and what kind of interventions we might have to get that project back on track. In terms of benefits tracking going forward, that'll have to be designed on a project-by-project basis, and that's a big role for the PMO to help support, make sure that tracking is in place. For example, if I was just to give a specific project, the one that I'm working on quite a lot is the closer home strategy, which is within children and families. So any intervention that we have to take, that we might make around prevention, preventing people from becoming looked after away from home, or looked after in general, would be a longitudinal exercise based on the type of placement. So try to reduce the number of people in residential home, and for a financial benefit, you would measure that over a period of time using average kind of the average values of those placements. So that's how we would count that in terms of financials. But as I say, it would depend completely on project by project basis. We just need to make sure that we've got a mechanism in place to do so.
Great.
I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. We've got another one here, a lot of questions coming through today. Are you involved in any partnership programs with NHS Health and Social Care?
We do have an integrated joint board, which has their own programme of change at the moment, which my colleague Joe will work on, will be a lot more versed in than I am. But we do have an integrated joint board. We've also got a Falkirk Community Trust to take care of our leisure and quite a lot of our event locations. So we do have those kind of values or partnership arrangements. But and also we're working towards the regional collaborative for education. So there's quite a lot in place across the council. But is there anything specific?
No, there wasn't anything specific mentioned in the question, but if you were thinking of anything specific, if you could just send that through the questions, that would be great. We've got another question here from Evelyn, and she's asking if you're using a particular methodology in the hackathons.
I'd say like each hackathon can be different because it's dependent on who's actually in the group. But basically, like, you know, I get a brief, and I'm running the hackathon. I get a brief from the service organizer, like who's asking for it to be done. So, and it just make it quite clear that from the outset, you know, it's understand what we're here for. So if I use the payroll one, for example, was it the need for emergency payments for payroll cut-off times. So that was quite clear. So, and for myself, it was quite clear just to try and keep the session on track, just try to keep it funky, because it's only, it's on average about 2 hours. You don't want it to go on forever, and it is a single problem that you're looking at. So it's really just setting the scene, making sure that they understand why they're there, looking at your approach to tailor it to your audience, so different techniques that you might need to use. It's making sure that everybody keeps on track. And then just wrapping up that saying that, you know, here's the outcome of this, here's the actions that we need to take to go forward, and just making that quite clear to them that, you know, it's just three kind of baselines, setting the scene, keeping them on track, and just rounding up at the end.
Thank you. We've got another question just coming through. Do you have job roles and a structure available to share for your PMO? How did you recruit it?
Yes, as I said, we've actually just finished advertising for a post. The closing date was on Monday, so I'm sure the job role would be available still through the My Job Scotland. So yeah, it's we just recruit. The recruitment process was just through My Job Scotland. I'm sure that'll be happy enough to share the most recent advert as well.
Thank you. I've got another question. Do you use any Lean Six Sigma tools or techniques, methodologies for your projects?
Yes, we do, but it's not a how would you say yeah, it's not prescriptive. Thanks, Lorna. So yeah, we'll use various process mapping tools, and we also use kind of failure demand, etc. On a project by project basis. Can also be quite handy for building into hackathons. So for example, we'd use quite a lot of data to enforce perhaps the problem that we're trying to solve. But we do use quite a lot of mapping techniques. We recently started to use customer journey mapping thanks to a session run with the improvement service, so we've been using that a lot more, and it really just varies on a project by project basis. But if anything that we're looking to draw efficiency out of, or look at our process, or look specifically at processes, then that would be a big part of it.
Thank you very much. Got another question for you. How do you identify staff as CANs? Is it on voluntary basis or based on their skill set?
Largely at the moment, I'd say it's a volunteer basis. I mean, ultimately what we're looking for is people who are enthusiastic and, you know, willing to help with the change process. I think to some extent, as we have new CANs volunteering, we then discover sort of their, you know, additional skill sets, if you like, that we bring with them. So it's not specifically, you know, it's not like, you know, the sort of formal recruiting process. It's looking for people that are positive and enthusiastic and up for making the change happen.
I'll add to that as well. It's not just about kind of formal skills that we have. As I said, we've got a lot of frontline staff who have got a lot of good input into that. and they don't always get the opportunity or the time to put their head above the parapet. So from our listening events, this is where I'm finding that we are getting really good nuggets to people and saying, you know, they would make a brilliant can, because they become a voice for their colleagues as well. So that's what we're looking for, people who can actually speak up and say, well, here's a wee problem and we want to fix it, like, you know, and we're willing to fix it, but we might not know the kind of way to go through it and that. So that's a development for them as well. So they might want to start to do some presentations and things, but they're a wee bit apprehensive. So there's a kind of buy-in as well, but there's also selling points for somebody to become a fan, and we're actually just in the process of have a cans listening again, where we can ask our fans on the skills that they feel are important, and we'll start to kind of build up a pack for them, and hopefully that can share that with you as we go forward as well.
Thank you for that. There seems to be a little bit of a problem with the sound. We can hear you, Dave, but I don't know if you can move a bit closer to the microphone, maybe, if that would work.
Yeah, sorry, it was just we're moving it around. So would you like us to answer that again?
Yeah, that would probably be good. Yeah, thank you.
Shall we take that question again? Sorry.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, work out over.
So I don't know how much you heard, but basically all of our cans are predominantly volunteers. So they come out of some of the listening events that we have been hosting. And it's basically the people that join the CAN network are people that have that positive and enthusiastic kind of desire to help make the council make the changes that it needs to make over the sort of forthcoming years. And ideally, we're just looking for folks that are willing to sort of take the opportunity to do, you know, some additional work, either across their own service or the other services, to sort of, but in a positive and enthusiastic manner. And Lorna also kind of added that we're also trying to make sure that we're getting voices from sort of right across the population. So, you know, we're not looking for necessarily people that are in sort of management lines, or that we're looking for the people that are, you know, at the grassroots, that are taking, you know, calls from customers, or dealing with families directly, or, you know, serving the children in the school canteen, so that where they wouldn't necessarily always have or feel confident to have a voice about some little problems that they may be experiencing. But this gives them an opportunity and a voice for themselves and for some of their colleagues to raise some of these issues, because it's not necessarily always about dealing with the big issues. It's about, you know, knocking off some of the sort of smaller issues that are really pertinent to you know, the staff that are dealing directly with our customers, whoever they may be, and letting them see that we can fix things and they can be a real integral part of the whole process of change that we're going through.
Thank you very much. I think we've got last question now.
So the final question, how has the CAN approach been received with partners? Are they as receptive as council staff?
Well, to be honest, most of our cans are actually sitting within Falkirk Council at the moment. We'll be looking, there's no reason that we wouldn't extend it out to partners. The first, one of our most recent listening events was the World Social Work Day, which would be attended by partners from the Integrated Joint Board, Adult Services and Children and Family Services. And from that day, roughly a third of participants volunteered to find out a bit more information about being a CAN, which is a brilliant success for us. So we're hoping that that some of these new CANs will help to spread the message within our partners, and also help to get a bit more buy-in. as part of some of our other exercises, we're looking at how we engage with the trust, and we'll be extending the same message to them. So there's absolutely, it would be great to get partners involved in becoming CANs, and but it's something that we'll be working towards. As far as I'm aware, it's been received. It's certainly had a positive impact in the council, so hopefully it's been received in a similar manner within our partners as well.
Well, thank you very much, Dave, Carol and Lorna. It was really useful. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add. So we're going to wrap up soon. There are no more questions at the moment.
No, thanks for having us, and if there's anything that we can do to help send out, and then please let us know and get in touch. I'm quite happy to take any further questions if anyone has them.
Thank you very much, and thanks to everyone who joined today. As Dave said earlier, we'll share the recording and the slides from today, so there'll be a follow-up email. And just before we go, I just wanted to tell you that there's another webinar coming up with Argyll and Bute Council on the 17th of April. You should have the details on your screen. So if you'd like to join, just email us at changemanagement@improvementservice.org.uk. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.